What's a book, a bell, and a flower got to do with the upcoming presidential election? Well, they're among 8 suggested symbols candidates could use to represent them in the contest. Alif Amshah finds out how these diagrams could make the voting process more inclusive.
You may recall symbols like this at the last contested presidential election 12 years ago. On the campaign trail and alongside candidates' names on the ballot papers. Eventual winner and former President Dr. Tony Tan ran his campaign with this symbol of his trademark spectacles. Another candidate, Dr. Tan Cheng Bock, chose a palm tree. Mr. Tan Ji Se used a heart, while Mr. Tan Kin Lian used a speech bubble with an edged-out hand. At the upcoming presidential polls, 8 suggested symbols have been approved if there's a contest. These include a torchlight, a pen, and a bird. One political observer says these symbols help to make the election process more inclusive.
Voters who might not be familiar with the names of the candidates, can identify, the candidates, through their symbols. It removes any concerns, that if, for example, a voter is illiterate, or is not familiar with names in the Roman script, that they will still be able to say, okay, this symbol is for this particular a candidate.
Alternatively, candidates can also submit their own symbol for approval by the returning officer.
It is likely that the candidates will come up with their own symbols. We saw that in the 2011 presidential election, which was a contested one, because I think the candidates would want to use the symbols not just to identify themselves, but also perhaps to convey, a particular theme, a particular message. So a heart, for example, could talk about care, concern, for Singaporeans.
The election department states that in the event of a contest, candidates who chose to use their own symbol must get it approved before 12:30 p.m. on nomination day.